Should take my hat off, huh?
No, that's fine. Hello, my name is Pastor Kevin Robertson, and welcome to another podcast, which this is called Inside the Grace Track. And so today I had the privilege, and I really love this couple to death. Today we're going to be interviewing Al Johnson and Lillian Johnson, the Johnson family. Welcome, guys.
Hey,
Thank you, welcome.
What's going on?
Oh, thank you for welcoming us.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, Al, let's start off at the beginning. First of all, I wanted to say how we met. Do you remember how we met?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, so I made an incredible impression with you.
Yeah, you did, because you could talk. He was talking junk, man. Well, remember we used to get together as pastors. It was yourself. It was Clarence, John Richardson, myself, and Bob.
Bob Bonnick?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Now,
1998, I think it was, 98, something like that. 1998.
Years ago.
Yeah. And we used to meet in your little nice office back there in the back.
Oh, the custom-made desk and the big bookshelves that I never had any books on because I don't read.
Yeah, it's the prayer room now. But
yeah,
man, that's where we met.
That was fun. That was a great group. And you pastored what church then?
It was called Greater Love.
Okay.
Greater Love Free Methodist Church.
I like the name.
Yeah. Greater love has no one than this, that he lays down his life for his friends.
That was your mantra.
Yep.
Now, did you plant the church or did?
Well, it was more of a revitalization process. So basically, we came into the Free Methodist, and our pastor had basically left the church, and the church just kind of disbanded, and there was a few people gathering, and I met with John, and we started meeting and started forming a church.
Oh, that's cool. And obviously, as a couple, was it hard on you guys pastoring? Did you live near the church or?
Yeah, we actually lived near the church when we first started. Yeah.
Yep.
And it was an adventure. It wasn't hard at first, but as things started growing, it became difficult and demanding because we were small, and I worked. I worked not just regular hours. I worked a lot of hours,
right.
So that was kind of taxing.
It's very interesting. Like when I talk to you, or I talk to Malaku, or I talk to Bob Bonnick,
Mm-hmm.
You're always concerned about my spiritual life or how I am doing. And it's funny, it's interesting that when pastors have been pastored their own church, they know what you're going through.
Oh, yes.
They know exactly what you're going through. And it's almost like the blue code with cops. But with pastors, there's a kinship there that you don't have to say anything. I get it.
Right.
I get what you're going through.
It's a collar code. You got a collar code.
It's a clerical collar. It's a priest code. And so how long did you? Now, I have no idea why you guys left.
Well, there was a few things. The main reason why we decided to disband the church is because we moved to Corona. Okay. Our kids were getting of age, they're becoming teenagers, and my oldest son was starting to get into a lot of trouble. And so we decided that we needed to move out of the hood and, get him into a better environment, and the other two as well. And so we bought a place in Corona. And so for 5 years, 3 years?
That we commuted?
Yeah, we commuted. We commuted back and forth,
About 2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years. And so we were doing that, sometime 4 nights a week, and it was becoming very taxing.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to our superintendent, Mr. Fitch, Dr.
Okay.
That man.
Mm-hmm.
But he asked me a simple question. He said, is God having you do this, Al? And I said, yeah, I believe God has called me to do this and to do this. He says, I understand God has called you, but has God called you to drive from Corona and drive back to Corona 3 and 4 times a night, a week, and, dragging your family along with doing that? You think God has called you to do that? And, it was a profound question. It was a question. He was basically asking me, is this God or is this your ego? Is this something God has?
And Corona's no joke. That's a long drive.
Oh man, back then it was
worse.
It was worse. We're talking 2 hours.
Oh really?
It was taking us 2 hours.
Yeah.
It was taking us 2 hours to get home, and so it was ridiculous. And so, I have to admit, this is something that I'm doing because I don't know how to stop. I just have to keep going. That's just how I am. And in some ways, my tendencies is like a GoBot. You just point me in a direction, and I go, 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 go. And
Lillian, did you ever think? Did you come to awareness quicker than him? Like, this is getting old. Or did you just kind of wait and hope that God would speak to him, or the prophetic word from Steve Fitch? Or were you going, come on, Al, this is, I like that noise right there.
Next question. Next question, please.
Okay, well, you answered it. So
we had a good place in our marriage. We're going to keep it that way. Next question.
Okay. Good. So you left there, and then when I kind of met you, I seen you after that whole breakup with the 4 of us. I think John resigned from his church and Clemens left, so I didn't see you till probably just at annual conference here and there.
Right.
And stuff like that. And then you made the decision to move back.
Yes.
And to come to Marina Christian Fellowship.
Yes. We remember we were getting together and having breakfast with Sir Latch, right?
What do you call him?
Sir Latch.
Sir Latch. Why did you call me Sir Kevin?
Sir Latch.
It doesn't fit, does it?
We're having so much fun. It was so, you know me, I'm not really a people person, but I really was enjoying you all's company, and it was really good for me. It was really good for me.
Right.
And so we were getting together, talking, and we were discussing church. And, I had been talking to Latch a lot. Me and Latch had been talking a lot during that period of time where I was, talking about moving back here. And we started getting together with you, and it was like you were telling me that, I should go help Latch, and Latch was telling me that I should go help you. Yeah, it sounded like nobody wanted me, right? Please have them.
No, and the thing is, this is what happens when in your head you think you're going to lose. You want to come across like you just gave him the game. That was you doing that, and so I go, I can't compete with Charles. Hey, why don't you go? Like, I'm all this giving, but deep down, I wanted you to come back. I wanted you to come to my church so bad. And this is where I first got to know Lillian, because you and I have been friends, but I seldom knew Lillian.
Right.
And it's interesting because Lillian intimidated me when I first met her.
She intimidated me, man.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Because and I think what goes on is I'm an outward processor. I like to talk and stuff like that. Lillian she's quiet. but she has this look that when she looks at you, it's just like you went to an airport screening. Just figured you out, and so you're just like, ooh, like totally, But the ones I got to know her, Lillian's on her church board, lovely lady. Just a sweetheart, big heart, and you're very blessed. But it's funny how you get a first impression based on your own insecurities. Like you're going, oh, Lillian doesn't like me, So
I get that a lot.
Really? No.
I've been called stuck up.
Oh, really?
Bougie.
Oh, bougie?
Yeah.
Oh, I never heard of bougie.
And if you know me, I don't like them kind of people.
She is bougie.
I don't get
I flash. That's why I have that. But no,
what does bougie mean?
Bourgeoisie?
Oh, bourgeoisie?
No, bourgeoisie. That's just bougie.
So,
but like the upper middle class.
Oh, okay.
More than that.
I'm
like the George Jeffersons.
It's raining in their nose.
Basically.
Oh, really? Oh.
No, I don't. That's not me.
But that's not her. That's not
Not
her.
at all.
Not at all.
No.
But I ain't gonna put crap.
Yeah,
Crap.
that's one thing.
I don't edit these things.
No. I don't.
I would if I knew how.
So sugarcoat too. I'm getting better with how my delivery of stuff is. I'm becoming more diplomatic.
No, I don't want you.
Old age.
I don't want you to change.
Well, Al,
Nothing, baby.
that look was like.
I love you.
That's love. He's in a good place in the marriage. Next question.
I have to sleep at night.
Yeah. So when you're part of this church, all of a sudden Brooke and I kind of decided, okay, we need to recalibrate. We need to get our priorities figured out, and we need to become the church that is different from the American evangelical churches. And you see, in 2016, I was going, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea. But what I was doing ain't working. And there's a lot of divisiveness going on in the church, and not lack of authenticity. Good point. And then we decided to assign Brooke to write Grace Track.
Mm-hmm.
And so you guys were in the first Grace Track. Where were you guys spiritually before you take Grace Track? And were you surprised about Grace Track? I know I saw you in two groups. So I saw you in one group. I saw you in the emotional healthy relationship class, which was a crazy class. And I remember you jumping on me and saying, not jumping on me, you saying, Kevin, you got to take control of this class. That class was crazy, if you know, but it's the most authentic class I've ever taught.
It's a tough class. Be real with you. It's a tough class because it calls people out on their stuff.
Yeah.
So, and you know how we don't like being called out on our stuff. It makes people uncomfortable. I'm sure the next class is going to be the same way, because you have to be vulnerable in that class. Emotional healthy relationships, especially if you're having problems with your relationships, like most of us are.
Right.
It's an uncomfortable thing to have to admit that, and then do some things that are challenging.
Right. Right.
Stop mind reading. Stop mind reading. Stop, assuming things are one way and you don't have a clue how they are.
Right. Well, and the thing is, if I took the class before I met Lillian, would be no problem. I probably would have said, permission to get in your mind.
Yeah.
And then I go,
access denied.
Denied. Shoot, wrong password.
So you're getting what I get sometimes. Access denied.
Okay.
That's not what you're supposed to say. Denied. I have to give you permission.
This is a question for both of you. What surprised you the most about Grace Track and the emotional healthy relationship compared to the normal Bible studies that you and I have gone through, that you and I taught throughout the years?
For me, Grace Track, what surprised me about that was how you have to get into yourself and work on you before you can work on somebody else. For me, I learned a lot on how to forgive. And because how can I say? I forgave my father for really not being in my life, my biological dad, for not being in my life, and I forgave him with my mouth.
Right. Ooh.
But my heart and my mind was like, kept regurgitating what he didn't do, what he should have done, whatever. So it wasn't until a month before he died, I was talking to my therapist, and I was like, you know what? If I never speak to him again in my life, if I never see him again, I'm okay because I forgive him. I'm not going to hold it over him anymore. I forgive him.
Wow.
And she looked at me and she was like, I believe you.
Oh, really?
Then, like, not even 2 weeks later, the day before Father's Day, and then I told her I wasn't going to call anymore. I'm not going to call. I'm not going to do any of that. They got my number. They can call me if they want to talk. Nope. I was driving home, I think that Wednesday before he passed. And God, I heard an audible voice. I'm going to say it was God because Satan didn't tell me to do this. He said, call your daddy and stepmom. I was like, I told you, no, I was done. I'm not calling them. And so it was like, I said, call them. I'm like, okay, push the call.
We're going to argue with it.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm arguing back. I'm like, they're not going to answer the phone.
Right.
Because they never answered when I was calling before. And phone rang maybe 2 or 3 times. My stepmom answered the phone. I was like, I got to, hey.
Wait, did your heart just go, oh, shoot?
No, I was like, what do I say now? I wasn't expecting them to answer because that's so I don't have to face nobody.
Right.
And I was just calling to see how you guys doing. It's been a while since we spoke. Everybody okay? And she was like, yeah, we about as best as can be expected. Right. And I'm like, okay. And then it was like a long pregnant pause, which seemed like 5 minutes, only maybe 25 seconds. Okay, well, I was just calling to see how you was doing. I'll talk to you guys later. Click. And then that Saturday, which was the day before Father's Day, I had seen the text the Friday night prior that someone had posted about my dad. And I showed it to Al. I was like, I guess my dad's in his last days. Right. Wow, that wasn't mentioned when I just talked to him. So I felt myself about to get angry again.
See, that is so true, because forgiveness is it's not one time, is it?
No. And so I was like, wow. And so I got up the next morning. We were having a brunch for the fathers and our family. And I got up and I was cooking. And for some particular reason, Al slept in. Al never sleeps in on a Saturday. Al slept for, I cooked 3 rib sandwiches and he's just not getting up out the bed. And so, I didn't say anything. And he just hugged me and I just started crying. I'm like, why am I crying? And he was like, it's okay, it's your dad. And I didn't tell him that's why I was crying, but he knew.
Oh, really?
So we get to the place where we about to have our brunch. And I looked at Al and said, my dad's going to die today.
You said that?
Yeah, and he's like, what? I said, today is the day I feel God's gonna take my dad home.
Can you describe how you just
I just had a feeling
wow.
because of what I had read the night before. Right. And I got to the house and I was kind of upset still because of the pride from the text, and not the text, but the post. And a couple of hours later, my stepmom calls me, tells me my dad's gone.
Hey, when you cried with Al, what were the tears?
Those tears was anger, a lot of anger. Okay. Even though I forgave him, I was still mad.
Right.
Hurt. And I guess pity.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting because I would love to dig in deeper, but this would take 4 hours to get into this. Because
then you be seeing therapy. You be seeing the therapist.
No, it's interesting to me. You said I forgave him almost on paper because I said it. So right. Can you just like I get it. I get the forgiveness. Like as Christians, we go, I forgive. We just say that. Like I'll pray for you. Don't pray for them unless we really are committed to pray. But just like the Christianese taught. So. This is what I believe. Forgiveness in the way you did it first is a 12-inch difference from your head to your heart. And so can you describe how it got to the heart? Was it, I won't even give you any ideas, like.
How I finally decided to forgive him.
Yeah, how do you know it was for real?
I got tired. I got tired of being upset with him,
right?
Being mad that he moved on and forgot about me. So, in my opinion, because he wasn't there. And it was like, I'm giving this way too much energy,
right?
Way too much of my time that I ain't gonna get back. Let him go.
No, it's a good point. Because, I have family issues too. And I think you and I talked about it. And usually when you're in the same position with a parent or something, when you hear someone like you, it's powerful. It's not like a book, like, oh, here, it's what Joel Osteen's 7 Steps How to Forgive Your Parents, and have the perfect life. I don't know what his book would be, but to hear it from you, and that's deep. It's just, I remember thinking, that's powerful. That's powerful. And Alex, the thing is, it's interesting too, you lost your parents. They were pretty young too, weren't they?
Yeah. I lost my dad. He was 55. And my mom was 60.
Yeah, that's young.
Yeah.
That's definitely long. Have you noticed a difference? I never asked this question. And Lillian, you can go to the next question, and then I'll think of a next question.
What's that?
Have you noticed a difference with Lillian since she forgave her dad?
I noticed a difference in how she referenced her dad.
Okay.
I noticed difference in how she referenced. I mean, this is
my dad.
Her dad.
Oh, okay.
That's ashes that she's actually wearing.
Oh, really?
When I say that,
beautiful.
She had more peace in regards to talking about the situation, because there was a period of time where Lillian was just I wouldn't say tormented, but she was troubled by the fact that she wanted a relationship, but it was not something that was happening. And so, I would say I noticed that she had peace about the situation. She loves Mama Joe like it's her own mother. And so when she couldn't talk to her, she was not feeling too cool about that. And so, I mean, we all leak. It leaks everywhere. It leaks in other things, if that's what you're getting.
No, I'm not getting it anywhere. I'm actually fascinated with it because obviously that, I think for me, I'm 57 years old. I still want my dad's approval. 57 years old. And the thing is, you will watch some of your anger is reaching out and saying, I just need loved. I just need you to care. I need you to call. I need you to do this. And they kind of do the opposite. Even when you sit down and go ahead.
Yeah, because your anger is a call out for help, a call out for acceptance, a call out for that need, right? And so, yeah, I get it. I totally
absolutely. So you that was partially a result from learning from Grace Track. So no one's going to sign up now. You know that for Grace Track going, oh heck, I ain't going to deal with my issues. There is no way. Forget it. Good for Lillian. Good, that's great. But you know what? My father can go to hell.
So that's the whole point. I mean, I kind of had a cheat sheet with Grace Track because I was involved with the whole process, and Brooke wrote the Grace Track, so I kind of knew what was coming. I knew the tsunami that was coming.
Tsunami.
Yeah, buddy. But the thing is, we all have to come to a point where we get sick and tired of being sick and tired. We can fake the funk all we want to and be miserable, or we can get out of our mess and stop wallowing in it and start walking and getting out of our own way, right? And so, that's the whole deal. You have to come to a point where you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired.
And there's a freedom. There's definitely a freedom.
Liberated.
And the thing is, what happens, even as a pastor, someone says, here's the door, be free. And you go, and you take the door and shut and go, no. And you go, seriously, God goes, you have freedom. No, and it's almost like I want them to have these sense, and especially people that hurt me in the church. People don't understand. You do as pastors. People say blatantly stupid stuff to you that you take personal, and
people lie on you, man.
Yeah,
they don't lie.
Yes, and so then you go, I know what to do. I know how to do it and stuff like that. But deep down, you're just going, I don't get it. I don't get my dad's approval. Now I'm not getting that person's approval. I'm not getting this. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? And Satan can just get you and just go, you're useless. Just leave. And the thing is, this is why I love when Grace talks about, you are a beloved child. God is well pleased.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. And that's hard for us to gravitate towards, to listen to God's voice or listen to a broken father. Like his voice we give more validity to than our Heavenly Father.
Yeah, the people that's putting you down, you value them more than the voice of God.
Yeah, it definitely do that. So I want to end on a lighter note, okay?
All right.
When you get an electric car?
Man, let me tell you something.
Next.
No, we ain't moving on. No.
Let me reference the question. I'll use somebody. Okay, go ahead.
Every time I see it, and it's every day, it's like, dude, they driving my car. So the answer to that question is, as soon as
you can't move, the picture's
As soon as this summer comes, I'm gonna start the process.
Hey, good. That's a good way to do it. You know you're safe when you're being videotaped. This again, you say, "Oh, Lillian can't." Ooh, that was smart. That's in front of everyone. The reason I'm asking that to everyone, Al used to have a Honda Fit EV, and I had a Kia Soul EV, and we had incredible stories about our cars that had an 85-mile range and sitting there getting charged.
San Francisco.
Yeah, we drove to San Francisco. We only got to Salinas after 22 hours.
That's right.
In our electric car.
We did it.
But we promised on our next trip. I think we kind of worked it out at Yosemite National Park.
Yes, that's where I want to go.
Yes,
that's where I want to go. As long as the bears are not in. No, I don't do bears, dude.
So anyway,
you know, almost every animal you can get away from, but it's hard to get away from a bear, man.
Well, just as long as Lillian runs slower, it's not that bad.
Dude.
I'll sacrifice the little one.
If he's hungry enough, he might get both of them.
You just need to be the second slowest runner. That's all you need to do.
You think it's done, dude, and here he come. He didn't found you.
Thank you.
No,
I get it. I get it. All right. Well, you would.
Yeah, we went to the Sequoias.
Pardon?
We went to the Sequoias, and we were in the cabin, and Lillian found out there was bears. We were actually walking out.
Good night.
A stroll. Lillian found out there was bears, and that changed everything.
Oh no!
Changed everything.
I know. And it's funny how we're out in their territory and we're surprised there's bears. Because I do the same thing. I go, don't they have a cage for these animals? I don't want to see a skunk.
We invaded their privacy, right?
Yeah. No, it's just funny to me and stuff like that. I miss you guys. I miss church.
I miss you too, man.
Miss everybody. And I know they're talking about maybe end of May, beginning of June, who knows. But it'd be good to see you again, at least face to face. Because I miss those big hugs.
Yeah, we can't even hug one another.
I know that.
You know.
We are social distancing.
Yeah, well, my wife's saying that we had to honor social distance. And I said, we're in the same house. We don't have to honor it. So.
Come put me in jail.
Home isolation.
All right, I love you guys, and
man.
Thank you for listening to this podcast, and we will see you for the next one. God bless you, and have a great. Stop this.